In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to master your emotions to control your reality using the universal laws of manifestation. Now, what if I told you your emotions aren't something that you need to avoid, numb, or distract from, but in actual fact, they are your most powerful guidance system that you can use to create the reality that you want. Now, if you had told me what I'm about to share with you today 7 years ago, I probably would have told you you're nuts. However, I've implemented all of these tools, all of this understanding, all of this knowledge over the past 7 years, and I've completely transformed my life. I've gone from being 110 kilograms, big man boobs, beer belly, a functional addict who was working a sales-only commission job, making good money, but deeply lonely inside, avoiding, numbing, distracting with literally anything I could find, drink, drugs, alcohol, junk food, you name it, it was my vice, okay? But once I started to retrain my old belief systems, I started to learn the knowledge that I'm gonna share with you today. I completely transformed my life. In 6 months, I lost 30 kilograms, got in the best shape I've ever been in, six-pack abs. Then I ended up moving and traveling the whole world. I quit my job. I ended up moving to my dream island. I now have a beautiful lady in my life. I've got a little brand new daughter. I'm a father, I'm a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm able to create freedom, to do what I want to do when I want to do it, okay? And that's exactly what I want to share with you today. I'm not going to be flashing Lambos. I'm not going to be sharing all this rented stuff that you guys don't give a fuck about, all right? I'm going to teach you today the actual tools and understanding and knowledge that if you implement this in your life over the next 6 months, over the next year, and consistently do the work, your life is going to dramatically change, all right? So let's get straight into things. Now, consciousness, all right? We're going to start with consciousness, all right? Actually, no, we're not. We're going to start with a formula. I've shared with you this formula many times over the past few videos. However, the way that we create our results in life, most people are looking outside of themselves, okay? Most people are thinking, this thing's happening, this person's a dickhead, my boss, I can't believe it, my missus, if only she was doing this differently, my life would be better, okay? They're placing their happiness, all of their external results are controlling how they think and how they feel inside, okay? However, it's exactly the opposite way round, okay? It's our belief systems, our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions that are controlling our results, okay? Our belief systems, what we were programmed from birth up until the present moment, what our parents told us, what our family, our religion, our society told us, all right? Money doesn't grow on trees. I'm not the type of person who gets fit and healthy, all right? All of these different belief systems, money doesn't grow on trees, yeah? All of that, which we were programmed into us, are controlling the way that we think, okay? And obviously our thoughts, the way that we think, control how we feel. And our feelings will control our actions, okay? And our actions control our results. You've seen this in your own life. If you've gone to work or gone to your job and you're feeling angry and frustrated, someone's cut you up in traffic and you're feeling super pissed off, yeah? Well, the next action that you go into, if you go into your sales call, etc., you're gonna be all riled up, right? And that other person is gonna feel that and they're not gonna buy from you. And conversely, when you're feeling excited, you've woke up early, you've done all the things that you need to do, you feel like you're on fire, right? Everything you touch seems to turn to gold. That is because you are feeling good and you are acting the way that you are feeling, and you got those results, okay? Now, this is where most people go wrong. Most people think that their outside world is controlling the way that they think and the way that they feel, okay? They didn't get that job, or they didn't sign that client, or someone cut them up in traffic, or their football team lost, right? And then that is the cause of how they feel inside, all right? Oh, my football team lost, fuck those people, I'm so angry. And then they go to the pub and they get smashed, they sniff lines to try and forget, avoid, numb, and distract, all right? That is because they haven't quite realized and understood the number one rule of reality. Now, this is in the Hermetic philosophy, okay? You can dive deeper into that, but the all is mind, okay? Everything first starts in the mind before it becomes reality. And our outside world of people, places, circumstances, things, and results is purely a mirror reflection, okay? Life is a mirror, right? Life is a mirror reflecting back to you what you believe is true, what you think, and what you feel, okay? Back to the formula, okay? Life is literally just a mirror of how you think and how you feel, right? If I think negatively, if I think angrily, if I'm in fear, worry, and doubt, yeah, if that's what I predominantly think in my mind, I hold those mental pictures, I believe I can't do these things, I believe I'm not good enough, I believe I'm this type of person, then life just reflects that back to us in our people, places, circumstances, things, all right? And I'm sure you've all seen it. I mean, I've certainly seen it in my life where I'd have the same relationships, yeah, the same patterns happen over and over again, right? Maybe I would have addictive patterns, right? I would go to the gym for a couple of weeks or a couple of months and then something would happen and I'd fall straight back to that, all right? That is because life is just a mirror reflecting back to us our belief systems, our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions, okay? Now, here's the key part. We are consciousness, okay? Consciousness is what you and I are, all right? So if we have a look at quantum physics, okay? Now, I'm not going to go into the deep dive of quantum physics because that's not what you guys are here for. You can do the research on your own, literally go on fucking YouTube and type in quantum physics, type in the double slit experiment and start to do some research yourself, all right? However, quantum physics is made of two words, quantum, which is very, 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 very small, the smallest things possible, and physics, how the world works, okay? So essentially quantum physics is how does the world operate on the smallest level, okay? Now when we look at things down to their smallest level on a microscope, we will start to see, when you zoom into everything on a microscope, every single thing in reality is made of tiny little atoms, okay? Now these tiny little atoms, you've probably seen them when you were at school. They have an electron, a proton, and a neutron, right? And the electron's flying around, yeah, on the outside. Now, what we've actually discovered through quantum physics is that this tiny little atom is not just circling around itself, it's actually 99.99999% space, okay? And in this space, it's just pure potential energy, frequency, and vibration, okay? Now, this is another part of the Hermetic philosophy, is that everything in the universe is frequency and vibration, the law of vibration. Everything is in constant vibration, okay? Now, when we have a look at quantum physics and we look at the atom, you and I are made of tiny billions and billions of tiny little atoms, okay? These atoms make up your organs make up your body, and your body makes up you, okay? So essentially everything down to its tiny little atoms are vibrating, okay, at different frequencies, all right? Now, that is what you are. You are made of tiny little billions of atoms, okay? Now, you are not just a physical body, okay? You're not just here, although the belief system of society has told you that you were born, okay? You didn't choose to be born, but you were just here. Well, that's what you were told. You weren't chose to be born here. You were just born, okay? And the circumstances that you're in, you just have to go about life, and maybe one day your circumstances will change. But if you work hard enough, you can eventually retire when you're 75 and then you die, all right? Now, in my opinion, this is absolutely fucking nuts, and this is not what we were here for, right? But society, which is designed to keep you small, designed to keep you as a modern day slave, all right? Designed to keep you fighting this person and that person, supporting this war, is to keep us small and controlled, because a person, an individual, a soul who knows that they're more than just their physical body is starting to become free, okay? And that's all what we really want, right? Freedom. Freedom to do what we want to do when we want to do it. Now that's monetary freedom, that's freedom of choice, that's freedom of health, that's freedom in all of the senses, okay? And that's what learning these tools and learning this knowledge is going to give you, freedom in every single aspect, okay? Now, when we look at you as an individual, you're not your body, okay? You are consciousness, all right? You are a soul, okay? You are a soul. You've come from somewhere. You were born, all right? Where were you before you were born? You're here now and you're going somewhere after, okay? All of the great religions, all of the great philosophers, the ancient Egyptians, right? The Mayans, the Toltecs, all of these civilizations throughout thousands of years, the ancient Indians, the Chinese, right? All different spans over history, thousands of years apart, were all telling their people that we are more than just our physical body, okay? We were going somewhere, and we came from somewhere, and we're going somewhere, okay? Now, we are a soul. You're a soul, and you're having a human experience, okay? You are a drop of consciousness, okay? You are a drop of consciousness. Now, consciousness is God, okay? Consciousness is you. Your awareness of being is God, okay? You having the awareness to be able to think, I am, is your ability to be God, essentially, all right? This is what Neville Goddard said in his book, At Your Command. Highly recommend it, okay? That your conscious awareness, your awareness of being is God, all right? Not this man in the sky, not this person that's going to send you to hell or heaven for doing things bad, all right? It is your conscious awareness of being. And that's what we're going to get in today, because you are a soul, all right? So you're a soul, and you're having a human experience, right? Just like I'm having a human experience, but we are all part of consciousness, okay? God, whatever you want to call it, spirit, subconscious mind, universal mind, infinite intelligence, quantum field, right? We are all part of this consciousness, and we are having each of our own experiences, very much like a video game, all right? I have my character here, you have your character over there. My character has its limitations, all right? Your character has its limitations, but our whole idea of this is to level up our character, okay? Go to the gym, get fitter, right? Learn new skills for our business, make more money, etc., right? That is the whole point of this experience, to evolve, all right? Self-actualize, as Adrian Maslow would have said, all right? So we're a soul having a human experience, okay? And we've been gifted a mind, and we've been gifted a body, okay? Now, it's our mind and our body which plug us in to this physical reality, just like a game, all right? You are the controller, just like GTA, you're the controller, right? Imagine you're playing GTA, you're the guy with the controller playing GTA, and your character in the game is what you're leveling up, all right? And that's essentially what's going on right here, is that you, in this reality, when we look at quantum physics as well, it proves to us that everything in our physical reality, the pen isn't actually real, it's just vibration. Everything is vibration, and our physical senses are taking this in and computing it, okay? We basically got a quantum computer in our brain, which is working out this 3D simulation that we're in, okay? And that's what you're learning today, is how to master and how to shift and change reality, because it is not solid, all right? It's up to you, and you can change it every single second of every single day, all right? So I've explained to you this diagram here before. Your conscious and subconscious mind is connected to your body, all right? Won't go into that, but I will link up the trainings that I've done before, okay? Now, it's your 5 physical senses that plug you into this reality. You can hear, you can see, you can smell, you can taste, and you can touch, okay? That is how we experience our reality, through our nervous system. Okay, your brain and your nerves, okay? That is literally the only way that you experience this reality, is through those 5 physical senses, okay? Get rid of those physical senses, well, what are you? You're nothing, okay? You're consciousness, okay? You're just awareness, yeah? You are your soul who's just aware, okay? And this is what happens when you go into meditation. Now, when we have a look at quantum physics, when we have a look at our 5 physical senses, well, the 5 physical senses are just experiencing reality through energy, frequency, and vibration, okay? Which goes back to quantum physics, because everything in the known universe is vibrating at a different rate of vibration, okay? The color red, for example, if we look at colors, right, the reason we are able to see colors is because they're vibrating at a different frequency, okay? The color red is a different color, is a different vibration to the color blue. Sounds, that is just vibration coming into our ear, which then hits our eardrum, and it's then computed in our brain, and we hear sounds, okay? You can have a look at cymatics, okay? Google cymatics, right? It is the study of how vibration and energy affects matter, okay? Essentially what you can do, I'm sure you've all seen it, is where you put like sand on a speaker, on a bass speaker, right? And then they start to do different frequencies, and it changes, okay, into these geometric forms. That is because everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. But because our 5 physical senses can't see all of reality, in actual fact, we can only see about 1.35% of reality, all right? That means that 99.8% of reality is outside of our ability to actually sense it. Okay? This is why you can't see radio waves, you can't see gamma waves, you can't see X-rays, all right? But we can see X-rays when we break our arm, yeah? We can see it on that piece of paper. But we can't see it with our normal eyes, right? that is because our 5 physical senses only plug us in to this tiny part of reality, all right? But thankfully, our creator, God, spirit, universe, subconscious mind, whatever you want to call it, has given us extra sensory perceptions, okay? Now, along with our 5 physical senses, we also have these extra sensory perceptions which are underneath the level of consciousness that just need to be practiced and used, okay? Now, you might think this is woo-woo spiritual bullshit, but we're going to do a little experiment now. Now, I want you to just close your eyes for a second, all right? And I want you to think about a mango, okay? Now, as you're thinking about that mango, breathing nice and deeply, I want you to imagine yourself cutting the mango open, and I want you to imagine yourself biting that mango, all right? Now, tasting the mango within your taste buds, actually feeling the juice, okay? Okay, now slowly opening your eyes, all right? Now, you've just used one of your extra sensory perceptions, the extra sensory perception of taste, okay? The inner sense of taste, all right? Now, you can do this with other things, right? If you just start sitting there and visually and mentally thinking about a sexual fantasy, all right, you'll activate energy in your body through your thoughts, because our thoughts create our reality, which will create chemicals within your brain, which will send signals to your body for you to get hard on, for example, all right? Because you're literally just there thinking about a potential experience which activated your lower chakras, all right? This is the same if you're scared and you're worried and you're fearful. You sat on your sofa, you're thinking about the argument you got to have with your boss. All of a sudden, you're angry, you want to fight someone, right? That's because you've flooded your body now. Instead of with oxytocin, the love hormone, you've now flooded it with anxiety, cortisol, adrenaline, and now you're ready for a fight, okay? So that just goes to prove that we have extra sensory perceptions which our mind controls, okay? And our emotional state. So our extrasensory perception, if you want to go even deeper into this, start to have a look at the CIA, for example. They have spent billions and billions of pounds on understanding consciousness, the nature of reality, extrasensory perception, clairvoyance, clairaudience, all right? These are all extrasensory perceptions. I can hear the inner sense of sound, clairaudience, okay? Clairvoyance, being able to see something that you can't physically see right now, all right? These are just things that we have to develop over time through intuition, through meditation, through silence, through breathing, etc., all right? But that's beyond the scope of this video. We'll cover that further down the line, okay? All you need to know right now is that everything you're experiencing is energy, frequency, and vibration. And your 5 physical senses is what's plugging you into this reality, okay? So when we have a look at this, we are now understanding that we are consciousness. We are the I am, yeah? You are the one who is able to be consciously aware that you are alive and here, okay? All you have to do is say I am in your own brain, all right? And that's your conscious awareness of being alive, okay? René Descartes said it hundreds of years ago, I think, therefore I am. This is the other way around. I am, therefore I have the ability to think, okay? So consciousness, your consciousness, I am, your ability to be aware, consciousness, is God, okay? This is your ability to transform your life, your awareness, okay? Using your higher faculties of your mind, imagination, willpower, memory, perception, okay? All these things we go deeper in the internal control system, but for now, you just have to understand that you're more than just your physical body. You're a soul having a human experience. You've been gifted this mind, gifted this body, gifted these senses to be able to control your reality, providing you know the rules, okay? So that brings us to our emotional guidance system, your emotional GPS, okay? When you go into a car, you put your GPS on, right? I mean, 30 years ago, you didn't have that. You just got in the car and you had a map, all right? You started driving around and you'd ask someone, excuse me, mate, how do I get here? And they would know, all right? They just did. They had fucking unbelievable brains back then. But now we've got this TikTok brain where we can't last even 5 seconds. So if you've lasted this far in a video, absolute respect. You've got an attention span that is better than 95% of people. But most people have this TikTok brain, right? They can't even think for longer than about 5 seconds. So this GPS that we are developing is our emotional guidance system, okay? Our emotions are literally energy, frequency, and vibration. Emotion means energy in motion, okay? So an emotion is a word that we have invented to describe a vibrational state. Okay, if I tell you that I feel happy, all that is a word we've made up to consciously describe a vibrational state I'm in. I'm basically telling you I'm aware, I'm consciously aware, I am aware that I am in a high vibrational state, okay? If I tell you that I'm feeling sad or I'm depressed, I'm just consciously aware, I'm the one, the I, who's aware that I'm in a negative or a low vibrational state, okay? And as we said at the beginning, the way that we feel and the way that we think is controlling our actions, okay? And if life's a mirror, then any feeling that we are feeling is going to create the results in our life, okay? So it brings us to our guidance system. Each of your emotions, energy emotion, is a level on the emotional guidance system, okay, on your GPS. If you are in guilt, shame, apathy, then you are in a low vibrational state, okay? And when we're in a low vibrational state, things start to become hard. Like this board, like this pen, okay? But if you can imagine a fan, right? If you put the fan on number 1, okay, you can see the blades rotating, right? But then if you put it on number 2, it gets a little bit quicker and a little bit quicker and a little bit quicker, okay? Until eventually, if you were to speed that up to like 1 trillion, okay, eventually it would be going so fast it wouldn't even be able to see that it was moving, right? It would look like it's solid object, okay? So this is the vibrational scale. When we're in shame, we're in guilt, we're in apathy, everything is super hard, right? We're forcing things are difficult, all right? We've got to struggle against the world. Whereas when we raise our vibration and we're feeling good naturally, okay, feel good naturally. This is without drugs, without alcohol, without junk food, without all this shit that you put in your body. We then start to feel acceptance, optimism, happiness, peace, joy, love, ecstasy, all right? And all these feelings within us are creating a vibrational state, okay? And as we said before, the way that we feel is going to control how we act, all right? So if I now wake up in the morning and I'm feeling excited for the day, I'm feeling buzzing, I'm feeling good, right? Then I go out into my sales calls and I start to have a chat with people, right? They're going to feel that energy, okay? And this isn't some woo-woo spiritual bullshit. This is actual science, right? You can have a look at the things like Heart Math Institute, your aura, all right? You instinctively know that you can feel energy, right? If someone comes into the room and they're pissed off and they're angry, right? You're like, oh, I don't want to be around that person, right? A dog can feel that energy, right? They're more in tune with it. A dog, when they see like a murderer or something, they're like, yeah, fuck this guy, I'm gone, right? They start barking at him, yeah? They can feel it, you can feel it, we can feel it. But our old belief systems from society, from religion, from family, from friends have told us, don't think about that unless you can physically see it, unless I have some evidence for it, it's not real, okay? And I was like this before, guys. I didn't have evidence for it. I can't believe in that whatsoever. However, go to quantum physics. Have a look at quantum physics. Have a look at the double slit experiment, okay? You will then start to realize that quantum physics is confirming that all of the things we can't see is actually more real than the things that we can see, okay? So once you understand that, it's all about removing those belief systems and starting to change how we think and how we feel internally. All right. Now, if you want to go deeper into this book, there's a couple of really good books, but one of them I would recommend is David R. Hawkins, Power versus Now. Explain the levels of consciousness, okay? Because consciousness is you witnessing and observing your emotional states, okay? And emotional states is how you feel, and how you feel controls your actions and results, okay? So let's say, for example, we are in peace and happiness. The law of attraction, like attracts like, okay? And we have a part of our brain called the RAS, the reticular activating system, okay? Literal part of your brain, have a look at it, not making shit up, but this part of your brain is designed to search out and focus and find things that are in alignment with how you think and what you believe is true, okay? So it's kind of like a spotlight in a dark room, all right? Imagine you've got a dark room and you've got your spotlight, okay? Wherever you put the spotlight, wherever you put that light and that focus and that attention is what you're going to see, okay? It's the same with your reticular activating system. If you tell your reticular activating system, your brain, oh, things are hard, things are difficult, I can't do this, all right? I'm just naturally fat, yeah? All of these things, that these limiting beliefs that you hold, then this part of your brain, your RAS, your reticular activating system, your subconscious just goes, brother, I've got you, all right? Let's focus more on that, okay? So it's gonna give you more fear, more worry, more anxiety, and then you're gonna feel in a low vibrational state. You're gonna go out into your world, you're gonna act with fear and worry and doubt, and it's a perpetual cycle, okay? A downward spiral, okay? However, if we take control of our internal world, how we are feeling, and make sure that we feel good naturally all of the time, we shift that spotlight, okay? We shift that spotlight from negativity, fear, worry, to optimism, excitement, joy, peace, happiness, right? And instead of starting to see things as, oh, this is difficult, this is hard, we start to see all these new opportunities coming to us, all right? Oh, I didn't see this before. And then the way that that part of your brain works, it will literally give you more things, yeah? Your subconscious, your automatic success mechanism we spoke about before, which I'll link in the bio, it is telling you and guiding you on this system, okay? It's guiding you towards whatever goal you have in mind. And this is why we have the vision blueprint. This is why we have the 5-step protocol to overcome any urges or overthinking or doubt or addictions, yeah? Because we focus our attention to where we want to go. Our vision blueprint, how do we want to feel? What is this vision of the future, all right? And then once we do that, we are in full control of how we think, how we feel with our actions, okay? So then, once we're in control of these two, and we've started working on retraining those limiting belief systems, yeah, by questioning them, why do I believe this, metacognition, like we've spoken about in the previous videos, we are then in full control of our results in life, okay? So the whole goal here is to feel good naturally, okay? And this isn't with alcohol, this isn't with drugs, this isn't with junk food, right? Because all of those things, those material things that we search outside of us for, are only a shortcut to getting back to spirit, to God, to consciousness, to our soul, okay? So this is why it feels so good, right? It feels so good. We get that feeling inside, that emptiness is gone, right? But then when it wears off, we need more and more and more and more and more. That is because it's a shortcut to consciousness, to God, to spirit, whatever you want to call it, all right? Get rid of the hate or that stigma behind the word God, okay? God is just your consciousness, your soul, your connection to infinite intelligence, all right? It's not a man in the sky, which religion wants to tell you. Because if you think like that, you're going to have a lot of people who have grown up in the West, they're going to have a lot of anger or hate or resentment towards that word, all right? God is your own conscious awareness of being, okay? And we utilize that through our imagination, willpower, memory, perception, etc. So there's a couple of tools for you, right? I've got a couple of tools for you just to end today that you can use every single day to make you feel in a high vibrational state, to make you in control of your emotions, and to improve your results in life, okay? So the first one, daily LSD, all right? I want you to take LSD daily. Now, I'm not talking about actual LSD, all right? I'm talking about LSD, laugh, sing, and dance, okay? Every single day, you should be finding things in your environment to laugh, yeah, to sing and to dance, okay? Because by laughing and singing to dance, we raise our vibration, we feel better, okay? Laughing, for example, actually heals you, okay? I can't remember who it was, but there was a guy who had cancer and he just literally kept watching comedy films, right? Because that laughter actually helped you improve, all right? Because disease is in the word, dis-ease, right? It's a body not at ease, yeah? So if we are a body not at ease, we're just in a low vibrational state, worry, fear, doubt, and that's going to create more of that, all right? So LSD, daily LSD, laugh, sing, dance. Find times to listen to music, dance, yeah? Laugh, sing, have fun, all right? What does a long distance runner do? They dance across the globe, yeah? Literally run. Breathe, breath work, okay? Daily breath work, yeah? Breath work is prana, life force energy. You are literally raising your vibration. You're taking control of your nervous system, switching it to parasympathetic nervous system, raising how you feel, creating chemicals within your body, DMT, nitrous oxide, all right? All these different chemicals which you can create in your own brain, in your own body, using your breath without needing any external substances, okay? And if you want that, just comment the word breath and I'll send you my free training, the fundamentals of breath work and the natural highs breath work experience that you can try and that you can actually experience for yourself. Because once you realize that you can take control of how you feel using your breath and regulating your nervous system, you don't need drugs, you don't need alcohol, right? You've got it all within you. So breath work, exercise, run, eat clean, meditate, silence, okay? All of these things that are reconnecting to consciousness, God, spirit, infinite intelligence within you, which you are a drop of, okay? And alignment, massive is alignment, all right? Think, feel, say, and do. Live by this and life's gonna be perfect, all right? If you think, feel, say, and do, and everything's in alignment, you can't go wrong, all right? If you think I shouldn't do drugs, if you feel it's the right thing not to do drugs, you say to everyone, I've stopped smoking, and then you don't do it, well, you're in alignment. But if you think, oh, I shouldn't do drugs, I feel like it's not the right thing to do, I say to everyone I'm not going to do it, and then you go and smoke or go and drink and go and get on it, well, there's something, you're going to feel it, right? You're going to have a gut feeling somewhere. And that feeling is going to be guilt, shame, worry, guilt, fear, apathy, all right? That's the loop, yeah? You need some relief, you know you shouldn't do it, you reach for drink, drugs, alcohol, junk food, right? Then you feel guilt, shame, regret afterwards, okay? And it's the loop, okay? And we're creating more of that. So, alignment, think, feel, say, and do, all right? You'll feel it. You'll feel it in your heart, you'll feel it in your stomach. If it's the right decision, follow along, okay? Now, the things that are keeping you out into a low vibrational are drugs, okay? Alcohol, junk food, coke, weed, all these sort of things, all right? Junk food as well, sugar, porn, yeah? Porn is terrible, okay? There's everything in life you have to pay for, right? I've got to pay for my water bills, I've got to pay for my electric bills, I've got to pay for I've even got to pay for fucking air when I want to go and pump up my tires, yeah? In the petrol garage, yeah? That's like fucking 50 cent. So I even got to pay for air, right? But what's the one thing you don't have to pay for? Porn, all right? That is because it's your sexual energy, the most powerful energy that you have, all right? It creates life, okay? But if you keep spunking it onto your fucking belly button and onto your bed sheets, then you're just gonna be drained, all right? And you've seen it, yeah? You don't wanna do anything after that. You don't wanna go do your creations. You don't wanna do anything. That is because your sexual energy is something to be cultivated, all right? So, porn, lying, scrolling, procrastination, all right? You already know what the things are that are making you feel like shit, okay? So this whole transformation, this whole changing, it's not about adding more things, it's all about removing it, all right? What can I remove? Because by removing it, I'm gonna free up myself and I'm gonna align and I'm gonna reconnect with my consciousness, God, spirit, universe, subconscious mind, infinite intelligence, quantum field, quantum mind, universal mind, automatic success mechanism, whatever you want to call it. It's that part of you, right, that higher self, which is guiding you towards whatever your mission, whatever your goal is, all right? And once you align, you'll start taking the right actions, you'll feel good naturally, and things will start to flow, all right? New opportunities, yeah? New experiences, more money, more health, more wealth, better relationships, okay? New families, yeah? And I promise you, you implement the things that you've learned today, your life's gonna dramatically change. Keep doing it consistently, day in, day out, 3 months, 6 months, a year, all right? Compound interest and your life will dramatically change. And I'm telling you this from my personal experience and from the experience of working with hundreds of other men inside the internal control system who have implemented these tools, and they start to see their life dramatically and change. Literally, in the space of 6 weeks, all right? Oh, my relationships are improving. My missus is telling me how good I look, all right? I don't have the urges to want to go and smoke anymore, yeah? This is all because you started to release all these things that you were hiding from, starting to retrain those belief systems, understanding yourself as more than just a physical body and having the tools to control your internal state, all right? Because it is, your internal state is controlling your external reality. So that sums up today, guys. We are finished for the training. I hope that helped you. If you found that helpful, let me know in the comment section below. Please give this a share with someone who you think would benefit as well. And if you guys want to go deeper into this, I've got a couple of things for you. First of all, comment breath if you want that free breathing training. If you guys want to join the Retrain with Tremain HQ, where I'm going to be sharing more content, which is just specific for the HQ, I'll put the link in the description for you to come join. It's completely free, and you'll also get the Internal Control System Toolkit, okay? So more of these tools that you can use to change your emotional state, to change your emotional state so you can feel better naturally, okay? And then if you guys want to go deeper and join the rest of the men inside the internal control system, I'll leave a link there. You can have a look at it, all right? Love to have you come join. It's fucking powerful, okay? Once you understand how your mind, your body, your emotions, your consciousness work, and you start implementing it into your business, into your life, bro, your life is going to absolutely level up. So that concludes today, guys. Appreciate your time. Have an incredible week as per usual, and I'll see you in the next video.